I think that tell you the truth, I think that the network may have been out
I think it's
even
just.
on the
I think
computer.
that's what it was because all the computers went out. But the weird
Yeah,
thing was that the network was still there. So I
yeah.
thought something. The network was still there. It didn't disappear, and it just couldn't connect. But anyway, that's fine. Try, make it like an exclamation. Say something really loud.
How loud?
Okay, that's really up there. All right.
How loud?
Well, that like the loudest you would say if you were like ah like oh my
Oh
god.
my God.
Yeah.
That's about how I'd say that, really. Oh my God.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's great. Actually, the more things like that you can say, I can just cut them in anywhere.
But I really shouldn't see if you really want this to be popular.
Uh-huh.
You can't offend anybody.
That's not true. That's the opposite.
You got to get the people that you offend all together behind you.
It's just the opposite of true that nothing that's ever
Oh,
been
really?
offensive has been popular. It's if you try and please everyone, you will certainly make a piece of shit.
Yeah, but there are some
If you try and cater
words.
to everyone, then you will make a piece of shit. Yes, you can be a contestable person, which is why when you say things like, our history of servants, like you have to be very tactful about the way that you.
Yes.
I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that's the kind of
Yeah,
where you
that's
can
the
lose
stuff.
everyone all at once.
Yeah.
But saying, Scientologists are assholes. You're for sure as shit not going to lose everyone on that. You might gain some people, but I think
Yeah.
if we stick to ourselves, we're not detestable people. So
No.
if we do something that's honest to us, then we'll have a potential to connect.
Right.
Whereas if we do a version of us that's trying to be friend with every single person and trying to cover our tracks with everything that we say, then we'll just be like.
No, but I was thinking that, like, God damn, that's when you invoke God, use God in a kind of it's offensive to lots of people.
Right, but you can be sensible about how you say that. You can say, this is me, but fuck it. But look, Bill Maher, right? You like Bill Maher? Do you like Bill Maher?
Not anymore.
Okay, but still, a lot of people do.
Mm.
He makes his persona is based on, like, essentially very evangelical atheism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is good. You want people to believe what they believe. The problem for us, I think, is that
See, there are the birds.
yeah.
Just on the ridge above our windows, I think we're going to have hundreds of nests right up there.
And a lot of poop.
Yes.
So the problem is, I think for people like us, the doubt is a part of who we are. So spouting pure rhetoric of any side, or 100% committed arguments on just about anything, other than the argument that you should have arguments, is. I can't stand behind it 100% because I always have doubts.
Have I heard any of this? Really heard it? I'd probably be able to pick out my own faults pretty well if I could hear it.
Don't worry about it. It's better we'll just do more. I have some sense of what's there and what's not there, and I and when you mention do you use Word or anything, or
Word, yes,
I
I do. I don't know if I have it on here, but I mean, yes, I have Word. Just see if you can get it from Google or something, because if you don't see a little thing for it.
Okay.
I'm not very familiar with this thing either. I'll tell you the truth. I hate it so much.
I'm just gonna make. This is.
Do you know how to put in on the left-hand side there where they have categories that file things under. Do you know how to
Labels.
create those? Well, later when you're not preoccupied, I would love it for you to show me. I've forgotten completely, even on my other one.
I don't use those actually for much of anything either. But
Will you maybe dispose of your correspondence? Some of my
I'm just as disorganized as you'd expect.
Well, I mean, I have 900 or something like that. Things right on my.
Why don't I just print this? This is stupid.
What?
Why don't I just print this? If we're going to pretend it's on a piece of paper, it might as well be on a piece of paper for you to have.
You can't make it print from here.
No. Well, can you print from this thing?
We've attached it to the. We should
Is
be
this
able
attached to your
to.
computer?
They should have us
But they
attached,
haven't, right?
but they haven't.
Okay, but I can do that. You also sent me this email, a correspondence afterwards, which maybe we could talk about. This has to do with age. This correspondence after sending this thing from Grandpa to me. That's about like me being young and the same problems.
Yeah.
And like, well, you're still young and whatever.
That was nice.
And it was her when he was 24, 25, and this is my son that's much younger than me. You sent this in 2009. But now here I am having the same problems. And the age has caught up with me.
But you were the same age. To Robin in Dr. Lux's office. Pardon? Felice Fallon. Well, I've called so many times this morning trying to get her that I believe she must have the message that I've called. And then it's going to be lunchtime and she'll be out or she'll have left. And she called me yesterday and I've been trying to get back to her and I want to leave the house and I don't want to miss her call. How can I get her? She has a report to make to me. Let me just sneak in and say, please, next thing you do, call Felice Fallon. Oh, are you the answering service? Can you get me through to their desk then, Mm-hmm. This is Felice Fallon calling again for Robin. Well, will she call me back? I'm hanging around waiting for her call all morning. Yeah, but this is returning a call from yesterday. So, okay, thanks very much. I hope she'll call soon. Bye bye.
Any anything?
So I just was trying to get her. She's with a patient. She's not a doctor.
She's just. Okay.
She's a.
So I have these. I wish I. The only thing that
How did you do that?
I printed it out.
Oh.
I. Anyway, we can get to these later.
Is this the Ray Herb's letter?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
For myself, I want something a little richer, a little more spice of life, and whatever. And
Oh, what was the top of that?
Mac and I have been discussing a job and the opportunity.
Oh yeah, and then he was going to have just this ordinary life that was going to
that's great for
satisfy.
myself. I want something.
Yeah, wife, children,
that's
regular
cool for
job.
The age thing, this thing where I feel though I have a wonderful start, a solid foundation on which to build everything else because of you. And
Yeah.
that's interesting. I wish we knew when this was dated exactly. That'd be so nice to describe physically what it was that you were holding.
Well, it was probably, I would say, 1944.
I know, but if we're imagining here's you holding the letter, reading it, then it would be nice to know here it is with the seal that says this and the thing. Do you have any of them like that?
Yes,
that
I do have any of them, but I don't know
where they are.
where anything is at the moment.
Describe, if you were going to read this, it would sound so great to actually describe physically what the thing was.
Well, I could say this is a Gmail.
But but do you remember like physical just you got this old thin paper.
Thin blue paper that's been torn, and matter of fact, it's brittle. A lot of it is cracked, and a piece of it has got torn off.
Okay.
And everything.
And then you can just say 1944 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to say, oh, look, here's the date. You can just
No, 1944.
wow, 1944.
And what he is, I think he's waiting for an assignment.
Well, that's okay. We don't
You
have
know.
to do everything. But
And he doesn't think he's going to, he says that he didn't think he was going to write much of a letter, so he used this form.
Can I tell you something? I'm thinking about undertaking a writing project whereby I document my own correspondences about my previous. God, fucking damn it, shit.
What did you do?
Oh,
Sit on your phone?
no caller ID, missed call. Oh, it's probably the therapist after all.
Oh, you missed a call
We're doing. Oh wow, that really is quite loud.
that you're thinking of?
I'm going to turn this down just a little bit.
Listen, you are thinking of doing
A thing where I sort of take the and let me know if you're uncomfortable at all with like the way that you're sitting and anything.
No,
Yeah,
I'm very comfortable.
good. A sort of chronology whereby this is really so much different. I'm going to scooch in more now. How close can I get? Sorry. A kind of a chronology, an epistolary chronology that documents my correspondences with friends and with family and with you and with her in the aftermath of this breakup.
And I want to know, well, I probably have on my if it didn't get disappeared. See, I had this flash where a lot of stuff disappeared. If there's an A, Geez, I think I may have lost a lot of that stuff. I have to go and look. In
Well,
that box on the
we
side.
can
there's
go
an
look for
A.
some of the. So this is my thought. If I can kind of weave these together in a way that tells this sort of modern story and how it's grappled with, and how, like, here's this thing that's settling in me, and here's who I reach out to, and here are their responses. You would write things that were from your particular experience. I would talk to friends who were just like, whatever, man, that had never gone through it, and were just like, yeah, you got to get over it, like, fuck other girls, like, do other, like, get over it. But then there would also be friends that are in a very similar position. There's somebody I still talk to a lot who she's gone through really an incredibly identical thing. And
Who has?
a friend of mine who has a similar outlook on life as well. So the breakup functions as something similar to her. And so we talk about that. And we don't have solutions, but we talk about that. And
That's
so
nice. This is somebody you know in L.A.?
No, it's a friend of mine from Colombia who lives in Israel now, actually.
Oh, that's not very handy.
Hey, man, a friend is a friend.
Yeah.
And
What's a few miles?
what's a few miles, right? Well, that's exactly it. There's two distances of people. One is within arm's reach, and the other is not. That's it. And then there's driving distance, but other than that, everybody is far away, but not that far away. That's just how things are. And there's some, like, really interesting correspondence and that kind of sheds light on how people think, and definitely, like, how I'm thinking, and it doesn't. I think of, like, part 1, denial, part 2, denial, part 3, denial, and then then certain things start happening, and you come back to and slowly you go forward. But looking at this through correspondence with different people, writ as
Did I
correspondence.
Did I send you a copy of a poem I wrote when I was in boarding school, which was like my senior year in high school? That age, where I had been torn out of the arms, so to speak, of the love of my life.
Yeah.
And how I expressed it.
No.
Oh, I have that is somewhere
God,
where I
so
can
good.
reach it, and I could read that because
Well, yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Well, can we find it? We find these things later.
yeah, oh
Can we
yeah,
just-
I mean, I know that's in some pile or another.
So what we'll try and do is we'll try and get to a place where I introduce that, and we'll splice that in.
But you have to give me a few minutes to find.
Of
the
course, but we'll
things.
try and get to a place. But what I'm saying, we don't even have to do it while we're recording. But we have to
Yeah,
to set
can
up
do
some
it,
space
yes.
that it can plug into. You'll just read that, and then whatever.
Right, and it is as deeply wrenching experience as if I were 24 and not 16.
Do you feel now that those feelings were as valid as they would have been if you'd felt them when you were 24 or 25 or 35 or 94?
No.
You think that it was, like, in part bullshit?
It was inexperience that, I mean, this was my first love, deep love, I mean, didn't involve sex, but of course, in those days. But it involved, I mean, I knew this was the one, and to be shipped off, well, that wasn't because of that I was shipped off, but it was that here I was without being in touch with this person who was so important to me, and that it just wrenched me, and I expressed it in only terms that I knew. But do I think, looking back, I think, first of all, it would have been a terrible choice if it had gone on. And second, that I believe that I expressed the way I felt, but that my feelings, as I look back on them, were entirely inappropriate for the the state of affairs.
Do you think they shouldn't have been that way? If you could have changed if you could have said right now you could be with that person, you could say your feelings are essentially wrong. You're feeling them now, but soon you'll realize objectively would you tell that person that, or do you think it was necessary for you to feel those things?
Oh, I think it was the natural. I mean, I thought, first of all, the most handsome person I had ever met in my life, and he wasn't too smart, but I made him smarter than he was.
But natural is one thing.
Yeah.
We do a lot of unhealthy things that are natural to us. I mean, look
Yeah,
at but
right.
but that doesn't mean that it was necessary for you to go through. I guess what I'm saying is, do you think that I feel the way that I feel now, or have felt for like the past few months, and in evolving ways. But do you think that that's like a necessary thing you have to do, or soon as I can just say you're wrong, idiot, stop feeling that?
Yeah.
Then
You can't say that. And then besides, I didn't feel that. I felt that I was feeling something. I was probably going to go on the rest of my life, probably never meet anybody else.
you're sure of that.
Oh, I was sure of it.
How wrong were you?
How wrong was I? You ask that.
How what was the time frame of those?
I mean, boarding school was just the last year of high school. Then next year, that fall, I was in college in Syracuse, and that's when I met her. Not, let's say after this poem, probably within 9 months, I had met him, and then that progressed through. By a year later, it wasn't a grand passion. It didn't start off as a grand passion. It sort of grew, and as the years went on together, all other aspects of it grew that didn't exist in the beginning.
Were you looking for a replacement in some sense? Were you looking for something to fill?
I wanted a date. When I got to college, I didn't have a boyfriend.
A date, like, in the sense that you just wanted somebody that
Somebody
would
to
go
go
with
out
you
with.
to stuff.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, he was a blind date.
He was a blind date. Grandpa was a blind. Who set you up?
One of the girls in my freshman house.
You still stay in touch with her?
Oh no, she was a disgusting girl. She just picked up these two fraternity boys.
She must have had some
But she
good.
didn't pick him out for me. This is a funny thing. She picked out two guys for two girls in the house that didn't have dates.
Uh-huh.
And and they both arrived together. They were both in the same fraternity, and one was tall and good looking, and guess who that was? And the other was short and looked Italian, but he wasn't. And
that generally would go along with good looking too as an adjective.
and I don't know how, as I came down the stairs and saw those two down there, I can't now remember saying, I wonder which one is for me, but I know I thought, I wonder which one I would pick. That was it. They weren't assigned.
Oh, so it was an even toss-up.
It was, just...
It didn't come down to height.
No.
Okay.
So, right. But it happened that the other was a much better pair, suitably sized.
For you?
No, for them.
Oh.
It all turned out right.
It certainly did.
I don't know that girl kept on going with Saul Comita. That was his name.
Saul Comita, the short Italian.
Yeah, but he wasn't Italian. He was Jewish.
Oh, yeah. Well, who was the Italian? Oh, he
But
looked
he
Italian.
looked Italian.
Oh,
looked like
okay.
a little Italian.
Well, I came.
Huh?
I'm not sure who I was short for a long time, and I look
Yeah, I know.
Italian.
Yeah, I bet you.
There's something I need to know.
He wasn't as attractive that he wasn't. You were always gorgeous. You were the cutest disagreeable child. The cutest.
Go to commercial.
I want it.
Want what?
I want whatever it is you want it.
All right. Well, so this is what we're gonna. What are we talking about? Where's my fucking notebook?
What is it?
Where's my notebook with all my? Oh, there it is.
You were absolutely adorable, and you either scowling or whining or had your lip stuck out,
Right.
like half the time.
Well,
And then I was
some
with you,
things-
but I wasn't with you. Maybe I was irritating you. How do you know? But I don't
That's
think
right.
so.
If you've only seen what you've seen,
No.
it's not a very controlled experiment.
No, but I think you'll find a few people that will agree with me
It's
that
like
you
the-
were a pretty whiny kid.
You know,
I didn't know you in your, like elementary school days. I knew you when you were a baby. And I'm sorry, before school, before you went to school. And that was your most attractive and unattractive. You can bear that sort of thing. I
you can
have
bear that from a young enough.
Yes,
You can get away with
right
because it's expected.
You were so absolutely gorgeous,
Well, that
and
is-
the way they squashed you into a baby velvet overall suit from our 50th wedding.
What?
Remember my 50th wedding
I wore-
anniversary? You wore a velvet.
velvet
Velvet,
overalls.
yeah. But they were short, and then,
Short
but,
velvet
short
lederhosen.
pants.
Is
Yeah,
this-
that was like that, but with a little bib. And,
What? Did
well,
we get this out of like some sort of reparations catalog?
no,
Here's the
no,
things you can have for your kid.
beautiful.
Dress your kid up in velvet.
But it was actually meant for Ari for when he was a baby, but he never got to wear it. And so we squeezed you into it, and it was very tight around your tender parts.
It was too small for an older brother, and it was too small, and it was too small.
He
for
couldn't wear it for that. He was outgrown the use.
He wore it.
He didn't never wear
never
it,
wore
but
it.
they
He got
brought
it.
it along for you to wear.
Got it.
Apparently, didn't try it on. It was much too small for you, but they scrunched you into it, and you were squeezed to death in places that hurt you and annoyed you during the whole 50th anniversary. You were saying, "Get me out of this!"